At 1:15 a.m., the city stopped pretending to be normal. Neon District always felt artificial. Every sign calibrated, every crossing tone engineered, every announcement filtered through a single governing network called the filter spire. But on that night, something slipped through the cracks. Something the city insisted did not exist. The first blackout lasted less than a second. A pulse, a flicker enough to make the autonomous cars pause mid-intersection, and the streetlights hesitate, as if unsure which era they belonged to. When the power returned, every public broadcast speaker in the district activated at once. No channel ID, no emergency code, just a crackle, followed by a voice that sounded too calm for the hour. "If you can hear me," it said, "you're already in the wrong version of the city." The words were identical for every witness. The sounds were not. A night shift security guard heard what he swore was a baby crying behind the voice. A delivery engineer insisted he heard metal cables grinding like an old elevator. A hospital nurse reported the echo of dripping water, as if the broadcast were happening in a flooded room. Yet the core sentence, the warning, remained exact. By sunrise, the city erased all evidence of the incident. No logs. No unauthorized transmission records. The central console claimed the broadcast line had never opened, but 3 citizens found a 43-second audio file hidden deep in their device caches. Same waveform. Same impossible pattern. The Digital Anomalies Division sent an investigator, Mara Quinn. She had seen corrupted calls, recursive echoes, glitch loops, but never an entire broadcast that existed only in memory and metadata residue. Her first discovery arrived from an anonymous maintenance worker who requested a midnight meeting beneath a decommissioned subway line. He handed her a cracked data chip and whispered, "The spire logged a channel that shouldn't exist, channel 0. Mara decrypted the file. It displayed a simple entry, channel number 0000, active 4 threes, exactly matching the length of the mysterious audio. She compared the broadcast's waveform to archived files from the city's early construction era, the ones produced by the massive topographic drones that mapped the ground before the first towers were built. She aligned the spectrograms, expecting a mismatch. Instead, they overlapped perfectly. The voice had not been spoken. It had been translated. A decades-old terrain scan converted into human language, delivered through a channel no one should be able to activate. But the real damage did not come from the signal. It came from what happened after. Each witness began reporting subtle distortions in their daily routes. A street turning at a slightly sharper angle than before. An apartment stairwell gaining an extra step. A hospital corridor that no longer connected the same 2 departments. Small inconsistencies, almost ignorably, yet undeniably real. Their memories didn't match the city anymore. One described it as living somewhere parallel, but only by inches. The anomalies multiplied. Road signs altered spellings. Storefronts changed names. Familiar paths became unfamiliar in faint but undeniable ways. Mara herself noticed that the street leading to her office seemed to slope differently, as though the city were slowly selecting a new version of itself. 13 days after the initial broadcast, Mara was in her office when her equipment activated on its own. Screens lit up one by one, showing the same blank channel header, 0. Then the speakers exhaled a low vibration, almost subsonic like the city drawing breath. The translation filter kicked in. The noise resolved into language. Version 0 will overwrite in 13 days. Then silence. No record of input. No trace of signal. Just the faint smell of overheated circuits and her own pulse pounding in her throat. She stepped outside onto the balcony and looked across the city. Blocks of buildings flickered like misaligned holograms here one moment, subtly altered the next. A streetlight blinked off, then came back with a design from 5 years earlier. An entire row of windows shifted form, like the skyline was remembering itself incorrectly. It became impossible to ignore the truth. The city wasn't malfunctioning. It was choosing. choosing which reality to keep, which to erase, which version of its citizens belonged, and which did not. Mara recorded her final field note 1 hour before the log ends abruptly. If the city is rewriting itself, then where are the discarded versions going? What happens to the people whose memories no longer match the architecture? I'm not sure which version I'm standing in anymore. And I think the broadcast was never a warning dot, it was an invitation. The last seconds of her recording captured the city lights shutting down in waves, one district at a time, folding into darkness like pages of a book closing. Then the file cuts to static. No one has seen Mara Quinn since the night the second broadcast aired. And somewhere in the filter spire's sealed system, Channel 0 remains active silent, waiting. Perfectly timed, until the next version of the city is ready to replace the one we think is real.